Hi, guys. Here I am yet again for another interesting podcast before work begins. And what it is that I actually want to talk about is unconditional love as well as self respect. And there's kind of this team thing going on where it's like there's team unconditional love versus team self respect. Like, which side are you on? And team both is, of course, going to be the most obvious, yet at the same time cliched choice. And team unconditional love, what that has to do with a lot is the heart. It also has to do with the mind, the soul, and the spirit, because you're feeding your spirit, you're feeding your soul, unconditionally. You're understanding the environmental effects, and the environment matters. And, why you're able to leapfrog from one section to the next, from one leaf to another. And, each leaf has its own observational tower that you're able to peer down from. And that's what brings us to, self-respect and team self-respect. And, I don't know how many people are on that team, but, 5 or 8, a lot more than that. And there's, kind of like I came in like a wrecking ball, kind of thing that goes on. It's real fast. It happens real quick. And self-respect is one of those things where you choose, your self-esteem. You choose like to honor your own rules, laws, and morals. You choose to honor yourself. You don't choose to dirty yourself or to soil yourself with, with the nastiness of, going down a road that you really don't want to go down, and because I've been down that road before, and you don't really want to get that. You don't want to go that far, down the road. So, you got to be able to come back, and you got to be able to talk with some of the elderlies. You have to talk with some of the big birds, and like the owls and the eagles, the hawks, the hunters that can see, everything that is around them and below them. They have a very good situational awareness, as well as, and the people who represent that, the clerics and the word priests comes to mind, but the chieftains, they often have something like that. And then there's the guy that sits in the middle of his own tent, creating all sorts of concoctions using science labs and lab tables and beakers and whatnot, just pouring thing after thing into every other thing, and combining things, sort of an alchemist in a way. But in their personality, you can definitely recognize a sort of shamanistic type of way. And tic-tac-toe, when you're placing the tic-tacs down, you realize, your breath, is it good? And that's where you get kind of confused, but you play the ping pong the way it is. The ping pong table, you play it where it lies. There's a lot of people who are very good at playing ping pong and, serving above the net, as well as, the veterans of Veterans Day. And you're trying to look for all the holes in theory, but really what it is it's a cross sweep. Cross hatching 8, and there's a a 9 as well as an S and a 7, and then you get P, reach out and love yourself, give yourself some attention. If you have to use a body lotion in order to help your body, your skin feel calm, the same way that a dermatologist would recommend to you some kind of product that would make you feel a little more comfortable in your own skin. That's what I'm doing for you, and that's why I'm showing you that the sun, when it rises, when you see the sunlight beaming down upon the city and the town, when you see that you're able to kind of disconnect everything, from every cable, you're able to disconnect it all from the mainframe, from the mixer, and when you do that, you're able to see the ancient corridors. You're able to see the brand new corridors that have been constructed, between 2000 and 2020, nearing on 2021. We have a lot of construction, a lot of new constructions coming up, 2025, 2027, a lot of project dates that need to be met. So, in my spinny chair, I have a lot of time to think about these kinds of things, and Yeah, I'm able to end the transmissions with a lot of the different commanders and the other COs that, that's what I call them anyway on the 5 star, and so the 5 point star. And so, when you have that kind of vision, when you're able to look beyond what meets the eye, as Optimus Prime would say, then you reach beyond the primal part of yourself and you're able to focus. And there's no blasphemy. You might want to try to put it on blast. When you operate in a uniform fashion, when you go up high and you're able to be the man or woman that you are, you play the game of Jumanji, and you knock it out, and you power it up, you power it on, and it seems like someone might be what they actually aren't. But when you look at the figures, when you look at the figurines, when you look at the digits, you free your mind. You're able to be freed. Your mind is rewritable. Your mind writes wonderful things. Your mind has had bad things written into it before. You can read H.G. Wells. You can read, things that gynecologists write, and dentists, again, dermatologists. And they serve, the country in the way that they're supposed to serve. The USA has generated a lot of business in that way. So, you uniformly guide yourself toward the ghost lands, and I said what I said about freedom and the free lands. And so, seeing as you have the choice between unconditional love and self-respect, when you can either alternate between the two, or you control yourself. You give yourself some control. You focus. You can go left, you can go right. You realize that the branches aren't as simply as top down or bottoms up. It's it's left or right. It's a situation. You power it on. You take a look at your interface, and you respect it. Give your interfaces the respect that they require at every branch, every turn in the road, every fork in the road that you meet. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. You serve, and you might make some errors here and there. You might err, but in the question answer format, you're going to see the number 4444. And, intuitively you respond to that. You're like, I get it. I understand. I knew it, And Fig Newtons, they cross over. And that kind of gives you, like in the other video that you saw, there were X-Wings and all that kind of Star Wars-y kind of stuff. And usually you're not supposed to really mention, what's in the shadow realm. And when the realm is open, when the gate opens, kind of the same way that you've seen on Nickelodeon, that channel, what is it called, or the game show, Olmec, he gives guidance, he guides you all throughout the tomb, so that you're able to friggin', you're able to knock it out, operate, on the golden, kind of the Globetrotters type of, you say yes to the global awards. And you make it minute. You subtract, you subtract the 7 from the 0, and then you know what I'm talking about. Carry the 4s, and then as 1, and this comes across as somewhat a warning. You have to reprimand. You have to reprimand sometimes the one that causes you most of the trouble. The one that's causing you the trouble is the one that's hurting you, the one that puts the hurt on you, whether or not they smile, and it's, it gives you the opportunity to say, I know. It gives you the opportunity, to see the color red, as well as the trees beyond that, so you can see the forest, the Fig Newtons, whether or not you have a girlfriend, whether or not you have a boyfriend, whether or not you're out there refereeing for the twins, or whether or not you're, seeking justice for some kind of asinine, deniable situation, and it's undeniably, a bye to the bleeding. You don't need to bleed anymore. So you say, I know, and no, and, you play with it, you recognize it. And so from that, now that you see what I'm talking about, unconditional love, it's gonna cause you to backtrack, go back a little bit, see the positive and the good things, see the positive and the wonderful things, see the positive where you couldn't see it before, figure it out, figure out why the arrows, have crossed paths, why they were shot from various archers, from shield to shield, and you're gonna go, it takes a little while to think about it, but, the mummy returns, the ghosts, they're jubilant, and, when you have the vision, depending on, how diverse you are, do you have an aversion toward writing? Do you have an aversion toward reading? You need to read. And that's going to help you determine what's true and false on that chicken foot, as well as the branching out of the decision making. So respect yourself, give that unconditional love, check the interfaces, the user interfaces, and, be like a Pokemon, be a good salesman, be pokey, spiky, wrestle with yourself a little bit, throw that here and there, check your thyroid, and also, just, the gynecologists as well as the bactologists, or what is it called? There's all sorts of ologists, biologists, optometrists, and you sew your mouth shut, and you kind of think about, what is the number one thing you want to really do? Do you want to cooperate? Do you want to quit? Do you want to be evil? Do you want, you got to have some nerve, and I got nerves, right? And you love it. That's one of the things you love about me. And, as the attack is ensued on the Gibson like machine, you knock it out, you figure it out, you end the transmission there, and I have to thank you so much for that. Again, I'd love to get into more of the history behind everything. I thank you, but I don't feel like really trying for that. You're gonna listen to this, you're gonna accept my hug, my virtual hug, and you're gonna be, my love is gonna shine in the same way that a butane torch shines for, ergo, you know what I mean? So, make sure you check your resumes, check your cover letters, get all that stuff, power it up, okay? Sew it shut, open up, and, throw those doors open, and be a G, be a good guy, be a good man, and, never mind about, other, distant web of, skinneries, if you will. Refine yourself. So thank you so much for the unconditional love, your patience, and for, just being a wonderful patron, a humble patron. Who am I? Well, I'm just, I'm one with myself, Unconditional love, self-respect. Remember that forever. And, just, the rites of passage, all right? Thank you for being good guys. Thank you for being good, all right? And, ED.